Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Hamet Maulana, the founder and CEO of Ministry of the Future. For those of you who do not know, Ministry of the Future is the foremost organization on the African continent, but we are based in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, that has brought about the government of Ghana and influenced other African governments to grant citizenship to African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Ministry of the Future actually broke the ice and opened up this subject and got the accord from the government of Ghana on the 28th of December 2016. We were able enough to convince a sitting head of state, President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama at the time, to unequivocally grant citizenship to Africans of the diaspora. It was 34 that were sworn in as Ghanaian citizens. And I may add, if there were others who believed that this citizenship was for real at the time that I announced it, we could have gotten as many as 500 or 1,000. But knowing our people didn't believe it, and we ended up getting 34 at the time. But however, that particular historic event is sent a shock wave throughout the global African community on Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. And what happened was that there were millions of inquiries that followed that particular event in the global African diaspora to know how they could come to Ghana and get Ghanaian citizenship, and for that matter, come back to Africa and get an African citizenship. So the long and the short of that was this. Out of that was the outgrowth, if you will, or gave birth to the year of return. And the year of return came in 2019. That was exactly about 3 years after the right of return has started this whole process. And of course, as most of you know, Ghana declared itself as the host for the year of return in 2019, celebrating the 400 years of Jamestown to Jamestown of Africans in the diaspora taken into captivity in the United States of America, and having spent 400 years there, and the end of that was in August of 2019. And so the year of return, Ministry of the Future was very instrumental in convincing government through that year to give or grant citizenship again to Africans of the diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to continue on this subject. Ministry of the Future, as I have indicated at the outset, was the foremost organization that brought about the right to return of African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Well, having done that, it actually came upon our organization that we must be able to keep this momentum going, because by virtue of what we had done was so historic that there were millions of Africans in the diaspora wanting to come to Ghana. And of course, we know that Ghana is not large enough to absorb all Africans of the diaspora. So the emphasis that we're looking at using Ghana as a template. And so Ghana can spread like a virus to other African heads of states and nations where they can open their gates and doors to allow our people to come in. Now, in order to do that, Ministry of the Future would have to mobilize a very astute team of very astute legal minds, diplomatic minds, those with experience that can handle this diplomatic mission. Because mind you, do remember that this our coming home, the exodus of Africans of the diaspora, we do not have a textbook. There is no textbook that we can go to that can show us the blueprint on what to do. We actually are writing the history as we go along. So having said that, that prompted me as the founder of Ministry of the Future to mobilize the best minds that I could get. And I went back to my bosom buddy, His Excellency Ni Kwesi Kwartey. Now this name, Ni Kwesi Kwartey, he was just recently resigned as the vice chairman of the African Union, and Ni Kwesi Kwartey is a lawyer by profession. He is the foremost senior diplomat in Ghana, and for that matter, perhaps throughout the whole African continent, with over 40 some odd years in the diplomatic corps as ambassador, the high commissioner. The man has just, his titles are too many. So I talked with him, he agreed to work with me. Then I went and mobilized a law firm headed by Barrister Charles Owusu Juana, international lawyer of repute and who is very, very sensitive about this issue of the transatlantic slave trade and the wrong that it has done to African people. So I brought the two of them together, and we, with myself, of course, and I looked at this and I said to myself, here we have here over 125 years of seasoned knowledge, experience, and a diplomat all in one, a package all in one. And I say, how can we lose with such a magnificent package of here you have a diplomat, formerly the vice chairman of the African Union. He's a lawyer by profession. He was the executive secretary to the president of Ghana. And he was the architect, along with myself in 2016, that designed the narrative to convince the government to give Africans of the diaspora their Ghanaian citizenship. And here we have an international lawyer who specializes in international law, can advise us from our left and our right. So with over 125 years of experience, we all came together in the chambers of the Barrister Charles Owusu Juana. And you will see in the background, we are actually going over the subject matter, having a discussion on the way forward, the blueprint that we're going to use, and most importantly, the message is most important. We want all of the African diaspora who desire to leave America, desire to leave Britain, desire to leave the Caribbean, desire to leave France, the European countries, Germany, wherever they are located in the world, and wanting to come back to Africa, as Marcus Mosiah Garvey had said almost 100 years ago. That Ministry of the Future is poised now with this magnificent team to set the blueprint in motion to convince not only Ghana government, but other African governments to open their doors and bring these children home. And mind you, the most important point that governments are looking for, and that the African of the diaspora today does satisfy, the getting of citizenship was predicated upon these two principles. And the two principles was the following. One of them is the moral obligation we felt that African governments owe to African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. It's an ethical and moral. So we put that to them in the narrative. They said, okay. But then again, you have to look at the economic side. And we looked at it and said, well, look, you're talking about billions and billions of hundreds of billions of dollars that Africans of the diaspora have access to, and that are manifesting and spending in their respective countries that they are in the world. That money could be used inside of the continent. And so I convinced the government, if you give the Africans of the diaspora their citizenship, they would put their monies in your bank, and they would bring added value to your economy. And so as a result of that, we had no argument. The government said, that's a done deal. We will do it. So here we are, from the right of return in 2016, the year of return in 2019, and now we're in the year 2021. We're into the decade of beyond the return. And Ministry of the Future has been steadfast. Ministry of the Future is the one that started this. And if you think this is not true, I want you to listen to the Office of the President. The Office of the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Director of Diaspora Affairs, is giving credence and credibility to Ministry of the Future to say, when his government, meaning the present government in power, when they came to power, they didn't know their left from their right on this subject. They had to call Ministry of the Future to their office, the Office of the President. And Ministry of the Future came to show them the blueprint and roadmap on the way forward. And now everything now is history. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I know in the finality of this particular delivery today is you want to know, how can you become a member of Ministry of the Future? What is the blueprint you need to follow in order to come home? Well, let me tell you, it is this. Ministry of the Future has a website. You can go to the website. Ministry of the Future's telephone number is on the screen. You can do that. It can be done digitally. In other words, we have such an application for your membership, and Ministry of the Future also has designed a citizenship application. And that is the format that we used in 2016 to get the Africans of the Diaspora their citizenship. We used also Ministry of the Future's citizenship map that we application that we designed also in 2019. So becoming a member is paramount. You must become a member of the organization. As I said a moment ago, on the screen, it tells you how to log in to access the application and the benefits of becoming a member wherever you are in the world. We will assist you with housing. We will assist you with the repatriation. We even will meet you at the airport to pick you up and have transportation and have pre-arranged temporary housing for you as you make this journey home and you make the transition into the society. We have all of that available for you. So don't hesitate to contact the foremost organization with the A team, His Excellency Ni Kwesi Kwate, the barrister, international lawyer, Charles Owosu Juana, and yours truly, Dr. Hamet Maulana, with over 55 years in this particular spirit of fighting and the advocacy for the right to return. And now, government of Ghana has actually accepted the African of the Diaspora's right to return by drafting a legislative law called the Homeland Return Act. And it didn't fall from the sky. It comes as a result of over 35 to 40 years of our time on the ground, lobbying government to accept us, and they have done it now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. May God bless you.